Yeah, man, it's your boy Trey Pound, Moisturizer with the Coach Uncut podcast. Back at it with another morning cup. And today, as you guys already know, man, morning cup is fueled by some of the best coffee in the land. And today I'm rocking that bang bang splash, man. You know, click clack bang bang, which is it's a Guatemalan, bourbon barrel hand flicked beans, man, straight from the fields of Guatemala, man, to your cup. And today I decided to switch it up a little bit, I got in my barista bag, so I made it with some almond milk and some coconut palm sugar. I don't know what inspired the drink, but I figured, let's switch things up a little bit, and let's get some other flavors in there. And it did the trick, man. It really did the trick. If y'all got any recipes, because, as you can see, I be winging it. But if y'all got any recipes that y'all like to do with y'all coffee, by all means, man, hit us up, shoot us some comments or some recipes after you buy your batch. And if you do decide to buy a batch of coffee, shoot us a comment, shoot us a picture, and we'll be sure to make sure we send you a discount on that next batch going forward. But all of our coffee, all of our merch is on tcuppodcast.com. That's tcuppodcast.com, man. Teacup Podcast. And speaking of merch, man, today I decided to go with that Time is Money merch, man. I got the Time is Money ringer on. We also got the Time is Money hoodie. We also got the Time is Money art. Man, Time is Money was the theme of the week, man. I feel like it just kept popping up on different instances, And I decided, maybe that's a sign of God that I need to talk about time. And the first instance was I was sitting down with my therapist, during our session. And, she was telling me about, we was talking about my journey of where I started with therapy and, where I'm at now. And which is light years from when I first started. But as soon as we started talking about it, I instantly went to talking about the future on where I want to be, where I should be. And, she stopped me and she asked me, she said, you think you talk about the future too much? And in that moment, I paused, I hesitated because nobody ain't never asked me that question before. And the second instance, I was on, my daily walk. Every day I go on a walk, minimum 3 miles. I get out there, just, hit the streets. I like to go clear my mind, at the end of the day, get some fresh thoughts out there. And this time I was talking to my boy Dion. I decided to give him a call and, just to catch up. He just retired, so I want to catch up with him. And what we do, we like to call what we call building, where we call and we talk about the culture, we talk about, life in general and, ways to improve, give each other some tools and whatnot. And then at the end of that call, we was talking about, just planning if X, Y, or Z was to happen, in this crazy world, what's the plan? And in the middle of me talking about, if X, Y, or Z was to happen, he had stopped me. He's like, man, and he said it in the most nonchalant, if Dion tones. He's like, Trey Pound, man, I don't know what's gonna happen in the future, but Trey, you're gonna be all right, man. You're gonna be all right. He said, I know a lot of people in this world, and you're doing a lot better than a lot of people in this world. You're gonna be all right. And in that moment, it put everything in perspective. It also brought back me to the moment where I had the conversation with my therapist. Shout out to Dr. Edmond in Columbus, man. And it just made me think of my response to her. And what I said was yeah, I do think, I think about the future too much, but it's a healthy fear of thinking about the future, It's not something that I just it overtakes me. But I can see how that could be a problem where you constantly thinking about the future and it can overconsume you in that fashion. So it made me want to ask, is that something that resonates with you guys? Is that something that you do? And if so, like, what are some tools you guys do to course direct, get you out of that moment of like overthinking, stressing yourself out, thinking about planning for the future? And I'll also like be sure to like send my therapist this video, and I'll hit her up and see what her response is, and I provide you guys with whatever advice she gives me. But those moments, man, it came up multiple times, so I figured I'll go ahead and just like expound on it. And speaking of, I want to send a shout out and thank everybody who reached out, and provided some feedback, provided some comments, some engagements, and let me know, some areas I can improve on. And also like shot me some comments and questions on stuff that they want me to expound on. So one of the questions that came back was from Tia, man. Shout out to Tia. Solid fan of the show. I appreciate all the love that you and support that you give as well. So the question she had was like, she wanted me to expound on like, what if you are someone who avoids conversations and also like experience anxiety when having tough conversations. Give us some tools on like people who avoid them, and also like when it like raises your blood pressure and you start to freak out a little bit. Give us some tools on how to handle those moments. And before I answer these questions, I want y'all to know, just giving y'all, I'm not a professional. I'm not a counselor, therapist, none of that. I'm just going to give y'all some, I like to call it some real ninja advice, some RNA, man. This is straight from your boy Trey Pound. And I'll be sure, like, after I give you my real ninja advice, I'll be sure to bring on some therapists and some professionals, to give you their advice on the matter. But I say, like, my instant, like, RNA, my real ninja advice would be, it's okay to like give yourself space, like it's okay to take time. You don't have to like rush to, to have the conversation with somebody that, you're having, if it's a tough moment. And, I say give yourself some time to process everything, and that's okay. And from like the book I read that I was telling you guys about last time, and shout out to Dave, but the book is called Super Communicators. But it said when you're having like tough conversations like that, one, like you want to ask yourself like 3 questions. Like, what do I expect to learn from this conversation? What do I expect to gain? And, and also like, what do I want the outcome to be? So, sit down, ask yourself those 3 questions, and also like ask yourself like, when you're journaling and you writing everything down, ask yourself, like, make sure you write down everything that you want to get off your chest, everything that you want to say before you had a conversation. Write it out and make sure that you have that out there, And then after you establish those guidelines and everything that you want to get off your chest, also like figure out, if you need a moderator, look, you don't know like where the conversation gonna go, find out who got best interests of both of y'all hearts, or if it's a group, find somebody who can moderate the conversation within the group, and that moderator is just to kind of just make sure they keep the conversation and everything on track, and also like to give each side space to be able to get their words out and everything that they want to get off their chest, but it's okay to kind of give yourself some space. And if it's something that it raises your anxiety. I know Tia was like, man, sometimes, people get on your nerves, and, sometimes her thing, she shut down. And I read it in a book, and I also like, it's something that I've heard before, like a lot of times, like when you're talking with people and they're not listening, and you keep talking and no one is listening, you keep talking and no one will listen. Sometimes you get to the point where you just stop saying anything, and that is a thing. But before that become a thing, just kind of like sketch out like how you want the outcome to be, make some guidelines before you having that conversation. And then the holidays is coming up, so if you made the bad mac and cheese, and you know, you done pissed everybody off in the house, and nobody want to come around you. Everybody avoiding talking about your bad mac and cheese. You know, hey, pray before you have that conversation. You know, and talk to God. You know, get your mentals right before you have that conversation. That would be my real ninja advice, and I'll be sure, like I said, I'll take this and I'll get the professionals on. We'll see what they have to say about it. But initially, that's my thoughts about it. But as far as all the comments and questions, that was the main one that kind of popped up that I felt like need to elaborate on. There was more, and I'll be sure to go ahead and add those, and we'll have further discussions on those. But that was the one that I kind of want to hit on today. But outside of that, there is one last thing I kind of want to hit y'all with, man. It was one quote I read from the meditation I was doing. It was from David Beckwith, man. I'm gonna be sure that, you know, I get his words out and make sure that, you know, it was a deep quote that I got from it. And I thought, you know, this would be some good advice to end the show with, man. Make sure you lead the people with some good words of wisdom, man. So the quote was, "You are a unique expression of infinite potential. Don't get caught up with time, but with something beyond the body and the imprint of the mind. And choose within that moment. Choose to be at joy," man. So at the end of the day, find out what brings you peace. Find out what brings you joy and lean in on that, man. It's a lot of good in this world. A lot to be happy about. You know, lean in on the happiness. Lean in on what brings you joy, man. And, you know, like I said, man, a splash a day or keep the doctor away, man. Get you some of that good coffee, man. And if you stay wet, you ain't got to get wet, man. Hashtag splash and dash, man. Trey out.
This is Trippy Tracks.
I need resolutions from all the devastation. It's my execution from all my hesitation. No more blocking blessings. We've been so impatient. We had to keep our distance instead of elevating. All these sacrifices, all the fasting for the prize to get a couple slices. No more rolling dices. We put all the trust we have into the most highest. All the way from insecurities, no longer fighting. Yeah, it's a transformation. We've been planning this for decades with anticipation. No more sitting waiting. Actions speak louder than words. You see the situation. We change our family lives forever. This is dedication.